a college professor who appeared serious and sensuous in front of everyone. But the truth was that she had fallen in love with one of her students. She used to teach all the students in the class, but her eyes were fixed on him only. One day, the student got fed up and asked, "Madam, do you come here to teach or to do something else?" The professor replied with a smile, "I will tell you this in private after the school is over." The bell rang, the college became empty. The classroom became deserted and only that student and his professor were left face to face. He said, "Madam, now tell me, what do you want to say?" And then the professor said something. Something that usually only a wife says to her husband. Now the question is, did that student show courage and refuse? Or did that stubborn professor get his point accepted? Or did the emotions of youth overpower that boy and he too could not stop? To know all this, listen to this story till the end. Today's story is about a boy whose name was Raju. Raju belonged to a very poor family. The condition of the house was such that on some days they would eat only one meal instead of two, so that whatever little money was left could be spent on Raju's flooring and books. Money was less, but everyone had big hearts. Parents and Raju too. All three had the same desire. Raju should study and become a big man. He should change his and his parents' lives. Raju was quiet and hard-working since childhood. He did not waste time in useless things. He would mind his own business. Books were his friend. He would study day and night. He would revise everyone's, solve questions, and would emerge first in the exams every year. His parents also had high hopes from him. That is why they would reduce their needs and save money and spend it on his education. They thought that our son is promising. He will become something after studying, and we will also be able to live comfortably in our old age. By working hard, Raju reached the 10th class. He knew that this class would change the course of his life. He vowed in his heart that he would score well so that he could get admission in a good college on merit and get a good job tomorrow. With this intention, he started working hard day and night. The silence of the room, the hands turning the copies, the wall, the ticking of the clock, and the pen in Raju's hand. All were witnesses to his struggle. Finally, the day of the exam arrived. Raju reached school with full preparation and gave each paper with full enthusiasm. After each paper, he would weigh the questions in his mind and prepare for the next day. The family members were busy praying those days. There was a gap of 2 months after the exams were over. During this time, Raju maintained his studies and also helped his parents in their work. Days passed, but there was a slight nervousness about the result in his heart. Then the big day arrived. In the light of the morning, Raju took a bath and wore his clean uniform. When he looked at himself in the mirror, his hands were trembling slightly. He was wondering what he would become. His heart was beating fast all the way. When he reached school, there was a huge crowd near the notice board. Children were looking for their roll numbers. Some were shouting with joy. Some were holding their breath. Raju slowly went closer to the notice board. Standing there, he closed his eyes. Then he gathered courage and slowly opened his eyes. He searched for his name in the list with his finger. Suddenly his eyes stopped on his number.
Now that I use Monday Service, AI makes solving tickets my form of meditation. Monday Service is a ticketing platform that helps us manage and automate our entire service operations with efficiency and with no code needed. IT
450 out of 500, 455 hundredths. For a moment, he felt the ground slipping under his feet. But this was the dizziness of happiness. Tears came to his eyes automatically. He composed himself, took a deep breath. Some friends put their hands on his shoulders. "Wow, Raju, awesome." Voices echoed, but he could hear his heartbeat in his ears. At that time, the peon or class monitor came and said that Sir has called you to the office. At that very moment, Raju nodded and ran towards the office behind the staff room. The office door was half open. Raju knocked softly. A voice came from inside. "Come, Raju." Ustad Sahab stood up and greeted him and said happily, Congratulations, Raju. You are the first student of our school who has scored such high marks. You have not only brought glory to your parents but also to the school. Raju's lips trembled and he could only utter words of thanks. Ustad closed the file and said, I am sure that you will get admission in a big college on merit. It is possible that you may get a phone call or a letter. Be prepared for either of the two. Your journey is really about to begin now. Raju bowed his head with respect, and while coming out of the office, he felt as if the burden of the heart had become lighter and the sky had come a little closer. He went straight home. As soon as the door was opened, the expectation was visible on the faces of the parents. When Raju showed the result card, the mother put her hands on her mouth in surprise. Then she was overjoyed. She started kissing her son's forehead. She hugged him. Son, our sacrifices have not gone in vain. Your hard work has paid off. The father's eyes became moist. He said softly, I am thankful. I am really thankful. That evening, the roof of the house also felt lighter. The heat of the stove was low, but the heat of the hearts was strong, the heat of hope. Everyone knew. This is just the beginning. A few days later, a postman came to Raju's door. He had a thick envelope in his hand on which the name of a famous college of India was written. Raju took the letter with trembling hands and quickly opened it. As soon as he started reading the paper, his eyes lit up with happiness. It was written in the letter, Congratulations. You have been selected in our college on the basis of merit. If you accept this offer, you will have to submit the admission form and the fee. Raju's heart started beating fast. He immediately accepted the offer, but at the same time, a worry also arose. This college was very expensive. It was also written in the letter that Raju has come on merit, so he is being given 50% concession. Still, the fee was so high that he did not have that amount. Raju was sitting disappointed, when God's grace happened that he got the facility of scholarships from the government. With the help of that money, Raju not only filled the form but also deposited the college fee. Now he was completely ready. But there was also a nervousness in the heart. Raju had seen only a small school building and a few old teachers in his life. He was thinking how the college would be. How would the students there be? How would the professors teach? How would the atmosphere be? Will I be left alone among all of them? The parents sensed their son's nervousness. The father put his hand on his shoulder and said, Son, don't worry. There are also human beings like you. In a few days, everyone will become your friend. Just be patient and continue your hard work. Quote, finally the day came for which Raju was eagerly waiting. Early in the morning, after bathing, wearing clean clothes and hanging his bag on his shoulder, he left for the college. On the way, his heart was beating fast. As soon as the college door came closer, its speed became even slower. That magnificent building stood in front of Raju among the big trees. Raju gathered courage and stepped inside and reached the door of his class. When he entered inside, a Professor Radhika was sitting on the chair in front. This was his first glimpse. As soon as Radhika's eyes fell on Raju, she stopped there. Her eyes ignored everyone else in a moment and stopped directly on Raju. Raju sat quietly on his chair. Slowly, other students also started coming. After some time, Professor Radhika asked everyone to stand up. She explained the class routine and the method of study very clearly. Then she introduced each student to the subject a little. But her eyes kept fixating on Raju again and again. It was as if she could find him even in the crowd. When the day's time was over, the bell rang. All the students picked up their bags and started leaving. Raju was also moving towards the door with them when suddenly a voice came from behind. Raju, wait a bit. I want to talk to you. It was Professor Radhika's voice. Raju was startled for a moment. But then he slowly turned and stood in front of her. Radhika looked into his eyes and asked, You are the one who has scored 450 out of 500, right? Raju nodded hesitantly. Yes, ma'am. The professor smiled and joked lightly. Did all this happen by chance or did you really work hard? was a little embarrassed and kept quiet. Radhika raised her eyebrows and said, "What's the matter? Are you dumb?" Quote. Hearing this, a slight smile came on Raju's lips. He said, "No, I am not dumb. I have worked hard and my parents' blessings were also with me. That is why I got success." Radhika became serious. "So you are really a hard-working student." Then she paused for a moment and said, "Look, if you want, I teach some children privately after class. I give separate lectures which are very beneficial. Everyone else pays fees for this, but you don't have to pay any fees because I find you very hardworking and capable. If you want, you can come to my house and study at another time." Raju lowered his eyes. He started thinking about what to answer and then said, "I will think and tell you tomorrow, madam." Then he went back to his hostel because the college was very far from his house. Next morning, Raju reached college again. Classes were held as usual. Studies continued. The bell rang and all the students started leaving after the break. But this time only Raju and Professor Radhika remained in the class. Radhika asked in a soft voice, "So what did Raju think?" "You?" Raju said hesitantly, "Yes." "Okay, I will come to study." Hearing this, the professor asked the next question. "By the way, where do you live? How far is your home?" Quote. Raju said, "Madam, my home is very far. I live in a hostel." Quote. Hearing this, Radhika thought for a while and then said, "Raju, look, instead of paying hostel rent every year, why don't you stay at my house? When I come to college in the morning, I will bring you along and drop you back in the evening. This way you will save money and some of my small household chores will also be done." Quote. Raju was a poor boy. Instead of thinking much, he immediately said yes. After a few moments, the professor took out her car and took Raju to her house. On the first day at the professor's house, when Raju saw that house, he was surprised. "Is this such a big and magnificent house yours?" he asked in surprise. Radhika smiled and said, "Yes, this is my house." Raju's eyes kept getting stuck on that huge house again and again. Before reaching the inner part, he stood outside and kept watching everything. Radhika said with a light smile, "Will you stand here outside or will you come inside as well?" Raju was shocked and said laughing, "Yes, let's go inside." Both of them came inside. Raju asked in surprise, "No one else lives here? Your parents or husband, children?" Radhika became silent for a moment. Then taking a deep breath, she said, "My parents have passed away and I have not even got married." Raju immediately got embarrassed. "Sorry, madam, I did not know." Radhika smiled and said, "No problem." Then Raju asked with a light smile, "Then you live alone in this big house?" Radhika replied laughingly, "No, we're alone. Now you are also there, right?" Hearing this, both of them started laughing. Radhika gave him a tour of the whole house, showing the kitchen, drawing room, study room, and then a room. She said, "This is your room. Stay comfortably here. Whatever you need, you will find everything in the kitchen. Washroom, etc. are all there. Now there is no need to ask me again and again." When Raju came to the room, he started looking at everything carefully. This was the first time in his life when he was going to live in such a big and luxurious house. He kept looking here and there the whole day. At night, he lay down on his bed but could not sleep. Firstly, the atmosphere was new. Secondly, there was so much happiness that there was no peace in the heart. Finally, after staying awake till late night, he could hardly sleep. The next morning, Professor Radhika herself came to Raju's room. She started moving his feet slowly. "Raju, wake up quickly. We are getting late for college." Raju woke up startled. He looked at his watch and found that it was really late. He panicked and immediately went to take a bath. When he came out after taking a bath, the professor smiled and said, "Hey, have your food at least. What difference will it make if you go late for a day?" Quote. Both of them sat together and had breakfast and then left for college in the car. As soon as they reached the class, Raju sat on his chair. The rest of the students also came. Some boys started talking to Raju. "Yar, you were not in the hostel yesterday. Where were you?" Raju said in a clear tone, "I live at Professor Radhika's house. I also do some household work there, and in the evening when she takes private classes, I also listen to her lectures." Quote. The students were surprised, but the conversation ended there. The class continued. Radhika continued teaching, but her eyes kept on sticking to Raju. Deep inside her heart, she was drawn towards Raju. Firstly, Raju was talented and handsome. Secondly, his style was polite and courteous. These were the things that Radhika liked from the heart. In the evening, after school, all the students went home. Radhika stopped Raju and said that we will not go straight home today. Let's go to the market first. We have to buy some things. Raju nodded in agreement. Both of them sat in the car and went to the market. They did shopping there. After shopping, Radhika said, there is a hotel nearby. The food there is very good. Let's eat there first and then go home. Raju said hesitantly, Madam, those big hotels are very expensive. We will eat at home. Radhika said smilingly, don't worry about such things. Sometimes good food makes a person happy. Quote, thus, both of them reached the hotel. When the food arrived, Raju ate the first bite and said in surprise, I have never eaten such good food in my life. Radhika said laughing, is it good? And both of them finished their food happily. Then they did some more shopping and returned home. After coming home, Raju was about to go to his room when Radhika called out, Raju, give us 5 minutes too. She started laughing as well. Raju paused and came closer to her and stood. Radhika was sitting on the sofa. She gestured. Come here and sit with me. Raju sat down hesitantly, but at a little distance. Radhika herself came closer and said in a soft tone, Raju, look, in college you are my student. But here in my house, we both are friends. So why so much hesitation? Talk openly. Raju remained silent. Radhika said seriously, I did not call you to my house so that you can just come from college, eat, drink, and sleep. I have brought you here because this big house feels like a prison for me. I live alone. There's no one to talk to. I want someone to share my loneliness. To talk to me, laugh, and smile. Raju looked at them in surprise. His heart started fluttering. He understood what the professor wanted. Raju started looking at Radhika in surprise. He thought in his heart, what does this professor want to say? Yet he remained silent. After a few moments, he said softly, I never talk to you much so that you do not feel bad. I will take care in future, Radhika replied softly. Why would I feel bad, Raju? I have kept you with me so that this big house of mine does not feel empty. There should be someone to whom I can talk. Hearing this, a smile came on Raju's face. He said, I also wanted the same. But I thought that the teacher should not feel bad. That is why I used to go straight to my room as soon as I came from college and the next morning straight to the class. Slowly and gradually the distance between them started decreasing. Routine became something like this. College in the morning, back home in the evening, and private classes with other students in the evening. Then at night Raju and Radhika started sitting together and talking. Now both of them had become like friends. Laughter, heart-to-heart talks, sometimes laughter, sometimes small banter. Everything started happening openly. But both were young. They lived alone in a big house. With the passage of time, unknown feelings started taking birth in their hearts. Those feelings which show the way forward from friendship. One day, while talking, they started joking. Then this joke turned into a banter and the matter reached to a fight in the course of playing. In the same fun, suddenly Radhika pulled Raju close and kissed him on his lips. Raju froze for a moment, but the very next moment he could not stop himself. Both of them took such a step in their emotional state which should not have been taken. That night the limits of their relationship had changed. This moment itself brought happiness, but in the coming days this happiness was going to turn into a big burden. A few months passed like this. Everything went on as usual. College in the morning, home in the evening, fun, talks, studies. But one day Radhika called Raju in the room in a state of worry. There was fear in her eyes. Her voice was trembling. Raju, I think I am carrying a baby in my womb. On hearing this, Raju's feet slipped away. He stood in shock as if he had lost words. He said worriedly, how did this happen? What will we do now? Quote, there were tears in Radhika's eyes. I am already the target of people's talks. I live alone. Everyone talks about me in different ways. Now if this thing goes out, I don't know what people will say. Now both of them were very worried. Radhika felt fear and shame in her heart, and Raju felt helplessness and despair. Finally, they decided that they would have to sit together in the evening and find some solution. After much thought and deliberation, Raju and Professor Radhika decided that they should get married. Radhika took a deep breath and said, "I have no one to stop me. If I love you, then it is my right to marry you." Quote. Raju replied in a serious tone, "I also want the same. But I cannot take any step without telling everything to my parents. I will talk to them. I hope they will understand." The very next day, Raju took leave from college and went home. While leaving, he promised Radhika that he will return in 2-3 days and give her an answer. But days passed and weeks turned into months. Radhika's eyes were fixed on the door every day, but Raju did not return. Now thoughts started arising in her heart. Has Raju betrayed me? Will he never return? She sat alone every night thinking and started crying. Finally, she decided, "I will not wait any longer. If Raju has left me, then I will have to bear this burden myself." With that thinking, she fixed a time to meet a doctor. The next day, she was going to go to end her mistake, to make her life back to what it was before. But fate had something else in store. That very night, suddenly there was a knock on the door. When Radhika opened the door, Raju was standing in front of her. She screamed in surprise, "Raju, where were you all these days? You have betrayed me. Why have you come now?" Raju's eyes were red. There were signs of fatigue and grief on his face. He said in a broken voice, "I never betrayed you, Radhika. Actually, my father's health suddenly deteriorated. We got him treated a lot, but he could not be saved." I was in the same shock. Hearing this, tears came to Radhika's eyes. She said softly, "You should have told me. I would have also come with you. Why did you leave me alone?" Raju said softly, "I did not want to involve you in your sorrow. And yes, I have told everything to my mother." She did not stop me but said, "Son, now correct the mistake you have committed. Marriage is the only way." Hearing this, Radhika's sadness turned into happiness. A smile came on his face and he said softly, "Then what are we waiting for?" Thus Raju and Radhika got married, ignoring all the obstacles. A relationship that started by mistake